Hi everybody, it's Miss Webster here from the Art and Design department here at St Paul's, and we've made up these art packs for you, and what I thought would be a good idea is if I just went through it a little bit further. So basically in this art pack, in the booklet, it's going to go through your first 4 drawings that you're hopefully going to produce before we come back in August. Okay, you also have access to some materials that will be included in your pack, kind of basic things like pen, pencil, rubber, colour pencils, oil pastels, watercolour sets maybe, but also I know that quite a lot of you as well, because you'd taken some of your previous Nat 5 work home to finish off, you might have some materials hopefully still lying around that you can use. Okay, so make sure as well that you've got access to Teams, because this booklet, just any time that we hear any updates or news from the SQA and things like that, that's where we're going to update the information, is on Teams, and also you'll be wanting to kind of send us your work and stuff for feedback on there. Okay, so the higher expressive folio, that's what we're focusing on just now. Definitely until we go back in August, that's what we'll be concentrating on. Is really similar to the Nat 5 course, okay? So you'll all be really familiar with the layout of the expressive boards and the design boards, but the only thing is that obviously there wasn't that kind of extra month at the end to get things totally mounted. So basically what you want to do is take a wee note of the image on the right hand side where it's got those X's on some of the coloured boxes. That's the work that you want to have completed, so that you know that you're on track when you come back. Okay, so you've got your reference image, so same as before, making sure, although this time you kind of rely on it a little bit more, making sure that you're totally researching a solid theme, and you'll have that one reference image that kind of sets the tone, kind of tells the examiner, this is what I'm sort of looking at for my own folio. You'll have your compositional photographs in that grey box there, and 3 investigation drawings, you know what they are already, and what we're wanting you to do is to get those investigation drawings done to a really high standard. Send us updates of what they're looking like so that we can give you feedback on it, because the jump from Nat 5 to higher, it is a bit of a leap, and we do need the quality of work to be higher, okay? And there's a big difference between a Nat 5 drawing and a higher drawing, right? Yeah, so thinking about your theme, looking at artists, taking inspiration, and thinking about creative decisions, and just constantly updating us with photographs, who you want to look at, asking us for information on artists and things like that maybe you've not thought of, okay? And that leads us on to the next point. So actually the majority of you have done this already, and that's create a Pinterest board. Make sure that your class teacher is collaborating with you on that, so that when we see you, say you're interested in the built environment for example, and we see that you're starting to save off some imagery, we're obviously going to have like a bank of images that we might want to add in, or we might come across something that we think, oh actually that person might quite like this, and it will hopefully give you more ideas and start to really firm up your process for you. Okay, so just the exact same as when you did Nat 5, you can take a look at still life, portraiture, built environment, etc. And obviously what you want to do is really play to your strengths. This year, out of every year, you're going to need to be very independent. So having a real involvement in the theme and the message and the artwork that you want to create, it should be down to you at this point, and you should... you've all got really good ideas, so it's just about taking one forward now. Okay, so that's our Pinterest there, and also our glow email as well. Okay, compositional photographs, you have all got iPads now, so think about obviously your theme, and at this point you know what your theme is, blah blah blah. So just start thinking about what you have around you. If it's going to be portraiture, thinking about just photographing yourself, coming up with like different ideas for lighting. Are you going to zoom in? Why are you going to do that? Think about angles. Are you going to take photographs but then run it through some kind of filter? Are you going to distort them? Why are you going to do that? Are you going to really look at reflections? Or just, there's honestly so many different routes you could go down, and things you can incorporate. So photographs, you'll probably take quite a few sort of photo shoot sessions and just keep chatting to us and updating us on ideas that you've got, okay? And I know quite a lot of you have been doing that already, and that is fantastic. We just need to see a couple more of you doing that, and we'll be on our way to everybody getting their hire, so that's good. Okay, so first drawing, basically we want the hire to be a wee bit more personalised. In that 5, you did have so much choice over your subject matter, over techniques you used, but at the very beginning you were set like drawing tasks, as in the one that we're giving you just now for drawing 1, and that's tonal pencil study. The reason we're getting you to do this is because it's going to showcase those skills that are already very, very familiar to you. You've had to do this kind of drawing before at National 5 level, and it's pretty straightforward, and it'll just ease you into your folio, okay? And just really take on board the kind of standard that you're trying to capture, okay? Which you're all capable of doing if you're at this level. So investigation drawing 2 and 3, this is where it's going to differ slightly from your previous Nat 5, where you've been asked, your second drawing was a biro study, and your third drawing was oil pastel. At this point, you'll be really looking at like artworks and inspirational artists that are going to be a driving force with your folio, and you also at this point have a preference over what media you like to use and what you're good at, what you can be strong at. So try and think, you could do another tonal study, you could start to do coloured pencil, you could do a mixed media approach, but what you need to just make sure is that these next 2 drawings stay investigation drawings and not development, because that's your next drawing where you're going to start putting things together, if that makes sense. Okay, so use your inspiration artists, make some creative decisions, and make sure that these are quite individual sort of studies. So you'll see here there's got the individual hand, or a zooming in on that wee egg, or those bottle studies. It's just 1 or 2 things, mostly just one thing, maybe quite a minimal background. You're just really, really focusing on investigating your theme. So you're just taking that second object or figure or part of the face or part of built environment, and you're working out how you're going to showcase that. Okay, it might even be the same thing as you did before, but actually this time it's from a different angle. Okay, and this is when we're moving on to your development study. So from at that 5 level, it's really the same, but hopefully you can see with these images just here just how high quality they are, and how immediately you can see a theme really, really emerge. And that's not just in the actual objects themselves or photographs themselves. It's really, really giving like the idea of a sort of message or a story behind it. So start bringing these elements that you've drawn in your investigation studies together, and start to play around with the composition and the visual effect that you're trying to create. Okay, so make sure that you're including a couple of your objects together. I want you to really think about these as like a trial for what you imagine your final piece to look like. So really think ahead, and just try something out, okay? And obviously chat to your teacher, confirm with them about what it is that you're thinking, because they might have some really good feedback to give you, things that you could try out just to make it really, really successful. Okay, So this is us onto our last slide, and I'll just very, very quickly go through it. Okay, so you all know how to pick a theme because you've all done it before. And if you haven't, if you were in a situation last year where a theme was chosen for you for any sort of reason, which that wouldn't have really happened, but just say it was, and you've not had the opportunity to pick a theme, just get thinking, get researching, start looking at things. There's so much out there. Think about what, like, an issue that's important to you or something that you enjoy drawing. It can come from anything. And also as well, we've spent a lot of time on putting Pinterest boards together, and they've got really clear headings. Like, if you're interested in, you just know straight away, I just want to draw still life objects, I think that suits me, or I'm interested in drawing people but I don't really know how to go about it. Go onto our Pinterest and just try and have a look through, and there might be that reference image might just be one thing that you just see one day and it just sparks off a wee idea, and then it's up to you really to start photographing. That's something that we would have a lot of time to do in class. We'd be doing that right now actually, but obviously the situation is what it is, and so it is up to you guys to be really, really independent now. Okay, so how do I know if I'm working at a higher level? Well, the thing is, if you are given this art pack, then your intention is that you are proving yourself and that you are showing that you are capable of of producing higher level work. Okay, so if you are working through this document and you're producing the work and you're getting your feedback, and you might not have done the best drawing that is the first one, but if you're listening to feedback and you're showing that you can really, really keep pouring in the hours and produce really visually impactful work, then there's no issues. Okay, obviously as well, if you have received a C or a D at National 5 level, then there will be conversations around that, but that will just we'll just take that as it is sort of thing when it happens. Okay, but if you've sat National 5 last year and you've selected to do art and design again, you've obviously selected it to move up a level. So we'll cross those bridges when we come to it. So just give this a go, okay? If that's what you've decided to do. What will I be doing when I go back in school? When I'm back in school. Okay, so as you can see here, those wee boxes that I've got a cross on them, those are the works that you're going to really, really continue on doing. Okay, so what we've given you out is a sort of minimum and just something that we want everyone to strive to do with the materials that we're going to issue to you. As you know as well, there is a written exam for the higher, but yeah, we'll really go through that. We'll start issuing, we've actually issued a couple of wee things on Teams already, so if you want to see what artists and designers that you will be studying, have a wee look on there. And as well, we've got the design folio too, but we'll just basically be doing expressive up until definitely at least August when we go back. I don't think there's not any intentions to start a design unit just now. Okay, we just need to give the expressive a really, really good shot. Okay, so any questions for any of us, you've got our email addresses, and now we just want to hear from you and your amazing ideas. Okay, bye everybody, take care.